Welcome back to Planet in the South. I have not done a plant-based recipe for y'all for a long time, it seems. So we are going to do a good crispy Korean tofu with some vermicelli noodles tonight. Also, it's been a rough couple of weeks and I need something super simple. So less than 30 minutes is usually our goal. I'm gonna say we can get this one done in 15. Let's go. The first thing you're going to want to do is to get your vermicelli noodles soaking in some warm water. So just some warm water in a bowl and put your noodles in there until they get nice and pliable like this. If you don't have vermicelli, angel hair is very similar to this. Any type of other Asian pasta that you see that you want to pick up and try, it really doesn't matter for this dish. We just want some type of noodle. If you don't have a noodle and you're a rice pro or you love your rice cooker, throw some rice. Doesn't matter, just get a starch. And for all my low carb people that I have that are on my channel, get your cauliflower rice out of your freezer now. I have my block of tofu here. I've already pressed it to get the excess water out of it. And for this dish, normally I would cut it into blocks, but this one actually works better if you just tear it into chunks. So I'm just gonna take it here and tear it into bite-sized chunks, maybe 1 inch or so. That's what we're going for. But just take it and tear it into chunks. Also, if you've had a stressful day, just let this be your stress release because it really does kind of feel like a stress ball. But tear that into chunks into your bowl here, and then we will get it dressed. And while I'm just sitting here tearing this tofu up, if you are not going into plant-based, but you still want to try this recipe, use chicken. And if you've been here long, you know, use chicken thighs. So this is what my tofu is looking like. Like I said, just kind of bite-sized chunks here, torn up. When you tear them, you actually give the sauce more to stick onto. For some reason, when it's kind of got these jagged edges, the sauce sticks to it better. So we're just gonna do a couple of dry seasonings first. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of garlic powder and onion powder. That's all this needs because we're gonna put another sauce on the top of it. So little garlic powder, onion powder. And then the key to making your tofu get nice and crispy is cornstarch or arrowroot powder. But cornstarch, you get it at Walmart. Most people have it on their cabinet already. So a good coating of cornstarch. I'm just going to use this little spatula here and gently turn this over. If you get too rough with your firm tofu, it will start to break apart into be too small of pieces, okay? So just gently stir it in there. You wanna get a good coating of cornstarch over the pieces here, okay? Another thing you could do is put it into a bowl that has a lid and then shake it up. But I already had this bowl out and planned on using it, so one less dish for me. And if you see it still looks a little wet in there, you can see it kind of glisten, you can add more cornstarch, but I am okay with what I have here. So next I am going to get I have a skillet here, a pretty large skillet, and I'm gonna get some oil going down in that to warm that up because we are essentially going to fry our tofu first. So I've got my skillet here on about 7, so medium-high heat, and then I am going to put in a couple tablespoons of olive oil here. I want the pan to have a good coating all over it. I don't want it to be going up the sides because I don't want standing oil, but I do want the bottom to be completely coated so that I can get a crispiness on my tofu. And while I've got this warming up, I do have a pot of boiling water back here for my noodles, but I'm not going to cook them yet. When my oil is warm, it's nice and shiny, we're gonna throw our tofu pieces in, and they should start sizzling immediately. You wanna make sure you get some room in between each one. If not, they are prone to sticking together, okay? So unless you want just kind of a big lump of tofu, try to spread them out a little bit. Your tofu is over here crisping up. You do not wanna touch it. We want it to get a crispy crust. So to stop ourselves from touching that, let's go ahead and make our sauce. The base of our sauce is gonna be soy sauce, like so many of our Asian dishes are. So let's put in about half cup soy sauce, we'll say. Put in a bit of fish sauce. I'm about out, so I might use almost all of this. So let's say 2 tablespoons of this fish sauce here. If you don't have it, that's fine, just leave it out. You're gonna throw in some hoisin sauce, probably about a tablespoon of hoisin sauce. Let's do about a tablespoon of oyster sauce as well. I might do a little bit more, I love oyster sauce. And now, since we just added a lot of salt, let's add some honey, or you can add molasses or brown sugar. I have this honey here and it's really good from a local vendor. And lastly, garlic from a jar. And I just have a little left, so I'm just throwing that in there. It's probably about a half a tablespoon of garlic I just threw in there. Let's give her a stir and see how she tastes. Oh, that is really good. I would say if you don't have any of these items, at least make sure you have the honey. The honey really makes it, brings it all together. After 3 or 4 minutes or so, your tofu will have crisped up on one side. So just take a spatula or something and flip it over to the other side for another 3 or 4 minutes. When you have a good crust, a good crispy crust on both sides of your tofu, let's go ahead and throw in about 3/4 of the sauce that we put together. So that's boiling, and now go ahead and bring your fire down to low. And what that's gonna do, it's gonna let your sauce thicken up some. So make sure you have some of that sauce on every piece of tofu, and then make sure your fire's on low and let it sit. We'll check back in about 5 minutes. When your noodles have boiled for 1 minute, you're gonna strain them and then rinse them really quickly with cold water. This is my finished plate. I have my Korean crispy tofu here. I have my vermicelli noodles here. And then I just got a couple of frozen pot stickers and popped those in the microwave and cooked them that way. And this is my meal. Usually I like to have more color, add some green, so add some green onions to it. Could have made some broccoli with it, but this is all I had in for me tonight, and that's just fine. Some days it's just like this, but it's still gonna taste really good. We have another plant-based meal added to our channel, and hopefully some of you try it out and really like it.